Welcome everybody, I'm Jeff Barton and I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. We're on each and every week. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to try to give you some topical information both nationally and locally about real estate, about the product, about the process, about the people involved in it, and about how you might be able to take advantage of the certain situations that you find yourself in. Right now we're in January 2019. Think about that for a second. I mean, we are 10 years plus away from the last recession, the last really deep recession, and we're predicting here on this show today, prediction number one, is that we're probably going to go into a recession late this year, early next year, right before the election. Why do I say that? There's a lot of indicators out there that say that let's say real estate prices. Let's look at real estate prices for a second. They've been going up steadily since 2010, and we've been seeing anywhere from 10 to 16% increases in real estate prices. Back in 2007, 2008, you could buy a house out here for about $60,000. That same house is worth about $300,000 today. Now, $300,000, that's the median price of homes here in Las Vegas, and sustainability of price increases over the long term, not happening. So when I say there's going to be a recession, it's because of two major reasons, really. One, uncertainty in long-term employment, meaning maybe in Las Vegas we've got great employment currently. We've got construction jobs are up. Certainly the hotels are doing better. But if we're looking long-term in terms of how the federal government is handling situations like the trade issues in China, how they're handling the federal government shutdown, which is currently in its 31st day, how we're going to handle the local elections and how those elections are going to affect decisions which mean the federal government, the state government, and local government, how are they going to be able to handle the crises that come up in regards to both the national debt, the local debt, and employment. Largest school system in the country in Los Angeles recently had a strike, and that strike is going to be probably indicative of what's going to happen in a lot of the public unions across the country. People are hungry for price increases, not price increases, but their income to be increased. Price increases are going to flow naturally. Why? Because the supply and demand chain from China has been interrupted, meaning that the products that you were getting from Walmart, Amazon, which were cheap, are no longer going to be cheap because the people who are making those products in China are no longer going to be selling them at the same price. The $200 billion tax increase or tariff increase that Trump administration is trying to reduce by their negotiations with China is not going to happen. Why? Because we have volatility in both the local markets and also in the national markets. Let's talk about oil for a second. Oil prices have been artificially held down. Why? Because the shale oil industry in the United States has been booming, and that's going to also change. We've got Russia, United States, Saudi Arabia, the three biggest oil producers in the world currently controlling the world market. It's not OPEC anymore, it's those three big players. So you've got Saudi Arabia, the US, and the Soviet Union, the old Soviet Union, which is now, of course, Russia. They're controlling oil prices. I think you're going to see oil prices increase this year because what we're going to do is find a holdback. Increases in oil, interrupted supply chain, uncertainty in the job market. These are three of the reasons why I think there'll be a recession at the end of this year and early next year. Don't believe me? Go to MSNBC, go to CNBC. Look at what they're saying about Wall Street and what's happened. Are you invested in the market? We're going to have a guy on today who works a wealth management company. He's going to talk to us a little bit about how to protect your money, how to be able to look at the markets, try to prognosticate out a little bit, and maybe find a better place to put your money. Certainly real estate has always been a secure and stable place and stable environment to be able to put your money long term in terms of trying to protect it. I would say that the increased inventory that we have this year and the prices that are going to not rise as quickly as possible, there's still some opportunity in flipping, there's still some opportunity in commercial, and we tried to get a guy on today for the commercial portion of this, but we will talk to a commercial person on the show, Alexis Jung, and she's pretty bullish on what's happening in commercial, but at the same time, putting your money into something that is stable, long-term, through the recession is probably a great idea. Anyway, I'm Jeff Barton. I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, and we'll be right back.
Are you experiencing hair loss? We have the solution with no drugs, no surgery, and no side effects. Experience 100% pain-free results with SuperGrow Laser Cap System, featuring 272 professional-grade lasers that make your hair thicker and fuller naturally. Use it 15 minutes a day, 3 times a week, and notice your hair growth in as little as 3 months. Visit online at irevivelaser.com to order your SuperGrow Laser Cap today and experience unbelievable results. irevivelaser.com.
Great, thanks very much. And we're going to go out to Jean-T Chun, who's going to give us an update on the real estate and what's happening in the Valley. Jean-T?
Thank you, Jeff. Hi, here I am with the Las Vegas Valley Real Estate Report for January 2019. Overall, in the entire valley, we've seen a slight decrease in inventory. Prices have leveled out just a little bit, so it's still a seller's market. We have a seller's advantage of about 31 to 34% still. So it's still a good time to sell. But also on the buying side, it's not bad. You can still find some deals because prices, like I said, has evened out a little bit. So let's start with each city. We'll break it down to each city. We'll start with Henderson at inventory of only 1,263. Days on the market is 104 days per property. Median list price for Henderson is at $400,000. Rent price is at $1,785, always slightly higher than the rest of the valley. For Las Vegas, inventory stands at 4,900. Days on the market is 96 days per property. Median list price is $340,000 and rent price at $1,495 per month. And we'll finish off with North Las Vegas numbers at inventory at the lowest of 718. Days on the market is 80. Median list price for North Las Vegas is $285,000 and the rent price is $1,325 per month. So North Las Vegas is always a little more affordable than the rest of the valley. So there you have it. That is the real estate Las Vegas report for January 2019. Back to you, Jeff.
That's great. Thank you very much for that report, John T. And we'll see you next show. I'm Jeff Barton. I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, and we'll be right back.
Ruthless Cowboys, keeping the American dream alive and creating jobs one t-shirt at a time. From fabric to design, Ruthless Cowboys makes 100% American-made apparel that hardworking Americans are proud to wear. At RuthlessCowboys.com, you can shop for shirts and accessories for the cowboy or cowgirl in your life. Head to RuthlessCowboys.com, check us out on Facebook and Instagram by searching Ruthless Cowboys. Ruthless Cowboys, we're all about family, country, and keeping it all American. RuthlessCowboys.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jeff Barton, and I'm the host here for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. We're on each and every week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with us, and I appreciate each and every week that you do tune in. We're going to bring to you a lot of different opinions and information about what goes on here locally as well as what goes on nationally, as both are intertwined, especially in the way the economy is working out and the way the particular cycle of politics has happened. We have a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace. And one of the people I brought on the show, or have brought on the show today, is Alexis Young, who is going to talk to us about volatility in the commercial market, what's happening here in Las Vegas.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me back.
Excellent. Thank you for being here. Okay, now we were talking off air a little bit about Airbnb, and we were talking about what goes on with the city and the fines. Can you just update the audience about what's happening if someone in the listening audience or the viewing audience is looking at what's going on here in the Valley?
Sure. So there was a big boom. I'm sure everybody heard about it, wanted to get in. A lot of people did. By law, it is illegal to Airbnb in the unincorporated area of Clark County, which is basically the entire strip, so anything south of Sahara. And that's where everybody wants to be because that's where the majority of people are, and that's what's easy for the tourists to commute to the strip, right?
Sure.
But it's actually illegal, and Air Data is calling the owners, making sure, checking the listing on Airbnb if that is the real owner, and if they are, they're issued a citation, a warning basically, and then if they don't remove it from the site, it's $1,000 a day.
So if I go on Airbnb and find a place near the strip that's renting out their room or their apartment, and I go and do that, the city is calling up the owner of that particular apartment and saying, hey, stop doing that or we're going to fine you. What's the fine?
$1,000 a day.
Wow. Right?
A day that you leave it up. And there's also other criteria. You're supposed to get a license, you're supposed to pay taxes, you're supposed to be 600 feet, I believe, from the next one that has a business license for that, so they can keep track. And obviously nobody's doing that. If you look on Airbnb, there's some really good deals. So they are regulating that, so there's no way to really tell if you're going to be able to rent it out for a little bit and sell it later. I mean, that's up to you, that's your prerogative.
How is okay, that's like a commercial deal, right? Like I'll buy an apartment within mind to rent it out to somebody who comes to Vegas, right?
Right.
I mean, that's the idea. So you're in the business, you're a realtor. How do you deal with that if that's somebody's intention to do that?
So I've always told everybody that if you want to do that after we close, that's up to you, but I am going to tell you all the disclosures and information so that you can be aware and make your own decision. I never want to be that realtor that is held liable for you getting a $20,000 ticket, basically. There are a lot of people doing it, so I'm not going to tell you you can or you cannot, but at least I'm giving you all the information because you're more than likely most investors, they don't live here.
Right.
I mean, they can live in Russia or Tokyo and they've never even been here and they just decided I'm gonna buy that one and I'm gonna put it on Airbnb.
Yeah, no, we talked about this on past shows last year about how the city needs the revenue, whatever the revenue is, and however they get it. The question is, the attraction of Las Vegas to outside investors or people coming here, is it less or more if businesses like Airbnb exist or don't exist? City obviously wants to support the hotels. The hotels, as you were telling me, MGM is really behind this push to try to make it illegal, fine people. Where do you think we're heading this year on it? Do you know?
Well, we're actually seeing an uptick in the resort fees, and that is because of Airbnb, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. They're losing money because people are finding a really good deal. I mean, there are some good deals during the week for the hotels, and you also get all the resort amenities. I particularly like that. But some people, they just want to come, stay in a clean place, it's cheap, save money, and that's the way they want to go. So it's really hard to say, but the resorts, they're going to make their money and they have a net as well, so they're never going to be able to fall behind. It's always going to be the little guy that's on the bottom.
Yeah, I like Airbnb. I like the concept. I like Uber. I like Lyft, which I found surprising the other night when Uber was all over the city. When did that change? Has it always been able to get around town on an Uber?
Oh, sure.
I thought the Strip was limited.
No.
I thought the airport was limited. I thought the Strip was limited.
They definitely did try to limit that.
Right.
So the taxi companies, they never provided a really good service, I feel like. I've heard so many people, they were driven around all over the place, so they had to pay more money. And
this is with the cabs or with Uber?
The cabs.
Oh yeah, right.
And you were always wondering, like, where are we going? Like, how did it become so much money? And the pickup times were long. And with Uber and Lyft, I would say 98% of the time, you're gonna know who's picking you up. It's a safety thing.
Oh, I agree.
I mean,
there's no cash involved. No, I think Uber and Lyft are really the much better way to go. I was in a line the other night, and it took 30 minutes to get a taxi, whereby the Uber line, it was finished, and there were about the same number of people in both lines in about 15 minutes. So obviously it's faster, it's more economical, there's no cash, you know who's going to pick you up. I think it's a much better scenario.
I mean, I can't say it's 100% guarantee that it's a lot safer. There have been instances all over the country where some things have happened, but I mean, you just have to use common knowledge and you have to be aware. Make sure to look at who's the driver and make sure it matches, especially the car.
Right.
And I mean, if you can't do that, then maybe you shouldn't be taking a Lyft
Well,
or
it's
Uber.
about, if you're inebriated, if you're drunk, if you're by yourself, these are all things that you would know normally. Look, I got to watch out for myself. I can't be like that in a strange city, especially getting into a taxi, an Uber, or a Lyft. It really doesn't matter what you're getting into. It's how you get into it and the state of mind that you do when you get into those vehicles, right? Okay, let's talk a little about commercial real estate, which is why I wanted you to come on the show. Tell us a little bit about the overview of what's happening here in the Valley.
So what's happening in Valley is there's lots of development going on, obviously. And with the Raiders Stadium, that's definitely created a domino effect all over.
What do you mean by that?
So the domino effect was the land acquisition prices have gone
see.
up. Some places it's 12 times the average, which is
Wow,
a lot.
that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And people aren't paying it, a lot of large companies, because they're able to do that. And so because the land acquisition costs have skyrocketed, it's created, for developers, they have to rework their numbers because they're still going to build, they're going to build single families, apartments, but they have to keep it where they're going to make their money and people can still afford to live there. And so they're kind of in this really, they're in a bind right now because a lot of people aren't able to afford, and so what we're looking at now is what we need: affordable housing, right? And so everybody thought Class A, retail, multifamily was the way to go. It's new, it's nice, it's beautiful, people like it, but the majority of people and the majority of locals, they can't afford that anymore because that's out of their price range because they're all on a fixed income, right? And so that has created a domino effect through the entire valley.
Oh, I see. So given the fact that the Raiders are coming to town and that each successive, I guess there's a band around the stadium, right? Closer to it is more expensive, and then as you get further and further out, but prices in general are raising, whether it be in apartments or single-family residences or in any land acquisition, as you were saying, it's all rising as a result of it.
Sure, and we're also seeing industrial storage. We're seeing a lot of that because, of course, Amazon, Zappos, a lot of large companies are moving over here because it's a lot cheaper still for large companies.
Well, compared to Los Angeles, I guess, right?
Sure, and they're also going to other parts of the country as well because it's about saving money. And land in Vegas is not like land in other parts of the country. So there could be a really good spot, but you can't build on the land. We have caliche, so that can in itself raise your cost and you don't even know it. So if you're a first-time builder or you want to build a small restaurant or a coffee shop, make sure that you do your due diligence and you do a land survey and you test the soil because it's not like it is on the East Coast.
We have about a minute left. Where do you see the opportunity if someone wanted to get into the commercial space, either build or to buy and hold or rental?
Buy or build an affordable multifamily property. You can live in one of them, so you can basically live rent-free, mortgage-free for the rest of your life if that's what you're into. I feel that that's the way to go because you never know how the market's going to turn, and right now we're definitely seeing a downturn slowly. So if you want that, then I would definitely go that way.
Thank you very much, Alexis. Thanks for coming back on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And I'm Jeff Barton. I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.
Ruthless Cowboys, keeping the American dream alive and creating jobs one t-shirt at a time. From fabric to design, Ruthless Cowboys makes 100% American-made apparel that hardworking Americans are proud to wear. At RuthlessCowboys.com, you can shop for shirts and accessories for the cowboy or cowgirl in your life. Head to RuthlessCowboys.com, check us out on Facebook and Instagram by searching Ruthless Cowboys. Ruthless Cowboys, we're all about family, country, and keeping it all American. RuthlessCowboys.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jeff Barton. I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show. Thanks for staying tuned and tuning in each and every Sunday. We really appreciate it. We talk about all kinds of things here on the show that affect real estate prices, whether it's mortgages or location of the property or whether the market's going up or down. We bring on the panel a couple of experts this week to talk about exactly those type of things. With me first is, on the far end is Charles Giscombe, who is a qualified employee and manager for Malibu Funding. Charles, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Excellent.
Thanks for having me.
And next to him is Big Tex Robinson from Wealth Wave.
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm just fine. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me
gentlemen.
back.
Thanks for coming on the
Thanks
show.
for having us, Jeff.
Okay, I want to get to some mortgages and what's happening in the mortgage market. Chuck, give us a brief update of what's going on and the opportunities out there.
I mean, there's still opportunities. We know that the interest rates went up. Now we just got a little bit lower of an interest rate. But now what's happening is the window for investors and just the way the mortgages and the rates are going, it's tightening up. I think we got another good 2 years, Jeff, 18 months possibly to keep this thing rolling if you're an investor, to pick up stuff. You don't ever want to get to the point where the interest rates get so high that renting makes more sense than purchasing because of the mortgage.
Right.
So that's where we are right now with that. I just think it's still an excellent opportunity. Houses in Vegas especially, the values are still there. There's still money out there to get. And for individuals that are having difficulty, I know I always go back to it, the alternative mortgages are taking big steps and big swings up now. And a lot of individuals are pushing or directing themselves towards those type of mortgages.
Right, and then what you're talking about is not your traditional 30-year fixed 20% down mortgage.
Correct.
More of what they call a non-QM mortgage.
Non-qualified mortgage, less red tape. Still, you have some trade things in there, but you don't have to abide by the exact same trade and RESPA laws. A little bit different and more flexible than your traditional Fannie, Ginnie, Freddie programs. And so it allows individuals who make money, who still make money, who still make good deposits, allows those individuals to get qualified for mortgages. And now what's happening is with the interest rates creeping up and these hybrid non-QM interest rates are lowering, you're kind of getting to a point where it's not that much of a difference if you want to pick up something. I mean, you think about it. If you got a 1.5% difference in the interest rate, but the beautiful thing about these non-qualified mortgages is they have beautiful kind of qualities about them or characteristics that no mortgage insurance. All right, so that takes away some money from those situations that you would happen in a Ginnie Mae loan or a FHA VA loan.
Right.
So you save money there. No prepayment penalties. So these loans can be refinanced at any time if you do get yourself in another situation where you decide to go traditional. Tax returns are there now, so you're ready to go. You have the ability to go get into these loans just to make sure you make the acquisition, and then you can refinance out. It's a real good situation.
Excellent.
Wow.
Now, credit.
Wow.
Now, I know WealthWave is invested in trying to help people with bad credit scores. And since we're on the topic of loans, what are you seeing out there in the marketplace when your clients come to you? Are the credit scores low, or do they just need to be adjusted higher? And you told me recently about a 60-day turnaround from a mid 400 to a 700 FICO score.
Right.
Give us some ideas of what's happening out there.
Well, here in Las Vegas right now, what they're doing in the Valley is a lot of these clients are coming because they want to get qualified for home buyers assistance.
Right.
So right now, $15,000 up to $15,000, and I want to say that the certificate is good for a year. So
What's the program here in Vegas that does that? Or is it the state of Nevada?
State of Nevada,
Right.
up to 640 FICO score. You have a 640 FICO score, and I want to say here, and for VA, you have a 580 FICO score. So, but we are getting those clients that are coming to us that are right in that cusp, that 580, 600, 620. Not seeing a lot of high credit in the Valley because when it was hit so bad here, and again, the young lady said it earlier, it's such an impulse town that people here just use cash, and so their credit is so shot. So it's a lot of opportunity out here in regards to credit, but if they follow the right procedures and do the credit restoration, it will allow them to get up there. And again, like you said, just a couple months ago, young lady, she was a 450, 451, and in 60 days, she went up 300 points.
And this is about taking stuff off her credit that she didn't
Yes.
know about?
Yeah,
Or was it just...
well, it was stuff that was on her credit, such as lates, collections, judgments, credit cards that was illegally reported. See, the creditor know that most of the consumers don't know that there are certain laws that they have to follow before they put a late or on time on your credit report. Well, since they know that Jeff don't know that, hey, Jeff was 30 days late on his car note with Bank of America, Jeff's late. Well, you trigger an investigation to go in and say, hey, did you know Jeff is the owner of whatever company? Did you know Jeff live at this address? Did you verify that Jeff XYZ? And if not, that's considered not your debt. So if they didn't verify it, but you do have to give them 30 days to verify it.
Right.
And if they did not go through those process, then by law, they have to delete it. Now, here's the big thing. If they don't delete it, there will be a civil action lawsuit out to that creditor. So that's why we assign credit attorneys to each and every client.
I see. Okay, so now that we've got a bit of an update of what's happening in the credit world, obviously in the mortgage world, opportunities. I know you're both entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial by nature. What do you see as an opportunity here in Las Vegas currently that maybe one of our viewers might be able to take advantage of?
I would say, in Las Vegas and places like that, places like this, investment. If you have the ability. I mean, some people don't have the ability to or they think that it's going to take more than it really does to get into a situation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You can pick up a multifamily. You know what I mean? FHA has some great loan limits that you can get into if you want to live in one side, pick up another side. You can put 3.5% down and you can get yourself a property that you never thought that you could afford. And at the end of the day, if an individual moves in there, they're paying your rent for you while you are making money. Paying your mortgage for you while they're paying their rent. That's an opportunity still. It's always happening. We always lean to non-QM loans a lot of times, but even in the traditional realm still, there's still great opportunities for individuals who, have decent credit, say, hey, listen, I'm working, I need to do something to make some money. Or if you're not making a lot of money doing a fix and flip, to get a multifamily, to live in one side of it and have an individual paying rent to you that's paying off your mortgage, I always feel like this, money saved is money earned. And if you have that opportunity, you should jump into it. And the interest rates are still good enough, right? And the rental market is great so that you still can get the best of both worlds and win. And I think that those are great situations for individuals to get into around here.
Now, in your business, obviously you're advising people long-term how to build wealth for the future. Is real estate part of that portfolio of
Absolutely,
solutions?
absolutely. And what we're doing for those, like you said, that don't make a lot of money, what they're doing is we're having couples, you have friends that you hang out with, combine your money together. And what I mean by that, combine your money together, go in, create your little LLC so you can go and buy a house, fix and flip, I'm advising to do at least 3 fix and flips, so therefore you can have enough liquid cash set aside in the corporation. Now when we go and buy this fourplex, now we can rent out because now we have money that's set aside for any damages or anything because you built up your cash.
Right.
And now we have actual positive money coming in, and then you can go buy different other multiplexes.
Consortium financing, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that strategy is good for younger people, older people? I mean, how do you, when you're addressing, most people want to come and talk about when they're going to retire, right? And most people don't even start that till they're in their mid-40s or 50s.
Right.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
Are you advising younger people? Obviously you do, but...
Yes. My son, he's 26 years old. He owns a couple of properties. Mm-hmm. So now that he's on his, the first property he bought, we helped him buy when he was 21. So he's had it for 2 years. So he has exactly $108,000 in equity. You guys did the loan. Has $108,000 in equity. So he's going to now sell that property. He's renting it out, but he's going to sell that property so he can pick up something else different in a fourplex to where now he'll be able to rent it out. And then have that.
Absolutely. And I think younger is getting younger and younger. Guys, the investors are coming to the table because they're understanding what they have the ability to do.
Right.
With the less amount of money, you can do more things right now. The market's hot.
Okay, excellent. Hey, thanks very much, fellas, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm Jeff Barton. I'm your host for the Las Vegas Real Estate Show, and we'll see you next time.